them generally.
All right.
Well,
Thank you so much, Godwin.
Thank you.
We will.
Well,
We will.
I think we've
So
had a
rather-
number of
yeah.
incidents this year for us to be worried about, especially involving young people.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's also within the space of all that has been happening. Apart from general issues of the psychology of young people in terms of trying to relate to them, there's also the issue of the kind of pressure we bring on young people.
Yeah.
And hearing, I think, the various incidents that have happened, especially on the university campuses, will come to mind.
Yeah.
And all facets of society, you look at the general sections of the population and that enormous pressure.
Yeah.
Apart from just studying as a young person, you also have to double in thinking about the general economic situation, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it is. And it appears more young men are attempting suicide and committing suicide.
And women.
Yeah, but the numbers
the
are
men.
higher, you know, on the men's side. Actually, the world statistics shows that every 40 seconds, one person attempts to commit suicide and is usually successful. Every 40 seconds, over 700,000 people die to suicide every year. And more men are doing this. And in a society where, you know, we are not able to freely talk about mental health awareness, we are trying now, but it's a subject that we don't like to talk about too much, especially for men. I mean, at a very tender age, you hear mothers and fathers and the society telling young boys that and men are not supposed to cry. A child cries and they say, you're a boy, don't cry. And these boys grow up believing that when they have emotional struggles or mental health struggles, they are not allowed to talk about it. And most of the time, people who attempt suicide or commit suicide are people who have bottled up many mental struggles and feel that suicide is the last resort. Unfortunately, we're going to be talking to a clinical psychologist today. Yesterday was Suicide Awareness Day. And so today on the show, we're going to be joined by Dr. Isaac Newman. He's a clinical psychologist. He'll talk to us about what the Ghana Psychological Association is doing to aid mental health awareness, to help us understand that mental health issues are a part of us. It happens. It's like getting a headache. Having a mental health problem does not mean that you're crazy or that there's something wrong with you which is so unusual. It is an illness, just like having a stomach ache or malaria or whatever, which can be treated. And so we need to be more comfortable about talking about our mental health struggles and not keep them to ourselves until we feel like the best way out is to commit suicide. Suicide is never the way.
Definitely.
Certainly.
Definitely. And, well, just to add to it, I remember I interviewed a young man, I think he was in his first year, this was about 3-4 years ago, and he had attempted suicide. And, you know, he didn't seem okay even after unsuccessfully going through the process. And he said it was because he could not even talk to his parents.
Yeah.
And so it starts from home. And I feel like for a lot of us, we're so busy trying to get the money that we neglect everything around us. And so there are people who are crying for help, who are asking. And sometimes they don't have to say it. But you should be able to study people around you to understand if they need that psychological help or not. But we don't do that. We're all focused on ourselves and everything else we have to do to better ourselves, but we neglect everybody around us. So maybe it's time for you to also pay attention to the people around you, because he said it was his parents that neglected him for a long time. He was struggling with his, you know, education, and nobody was there to help him out. So just a reminder to parents as well, it's important you get closer to your children. And we'll talk about it, like Nash said, this morning, but that's not all we're discussing this morning as well. I mean, this weekend has been one disaster after the other, and not just within our country, but on the continent as well. It's been heartbreaking. As it stands now, the explosion that happened in Anto Abosso Quarry, at the site explosion, well, we're told that about 5 people have unfortunately lost their lives. They're still looking for some survivors and some more bodies as well. And so we'll get an update on this situation. And we're hearing from, you know, the Deputy Minister for Environment, and he says that in actual fact, as it stands now, the quarry had not gone through the entire process with the Minerals Commission, and so they were not even licensed to operate at this point. And so why did we sit down and allow this to happen, especially knowing what had happened in the past, when there was also another deadly explosion where many people, unfortunately, lost lives, properties, etc. We'll get into that conversation later. And then Johnny's Bites will come your way. We'll jump straight into the big issues. And today, Roland is talking about how parties are getting ready for voter registration as injunction is not granted. And also, a Boso explosion deeply affects, well, the deep effects on communities and the latest update on that. So look forward to this conversation with Andrew Ejapa Mensah, he's the Deputy Minister of Energy and also an MP for Second D, and Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, the MP for Tamale Central. And we have more coming up this morning as well. Jules is going to be joining us this morning. He has an event happening this evening. In fact, he's getting ready for the launch of his EP, and he's going to give us an update on his music journey and future plans. So quite a packed show this morning. GMB is coming your way. Yesterday, unfortunately, 2 delegates bowed out again. Very heartbreaking, but you have to ask yourself, are you voting enough for your favorite? What are you doing to ensure that you support them all the way to the top? Look forward to that and more right on TV3 New Day. The hashtag again is TV3 New Day. We're streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV3 Ghana, and also on DSTV channel 279. We'll be right back.
You are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Piampofo, and William Asiedu. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7. Your urban lifestyle radio.
When the sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between.
On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okansi.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
The age-old rivalry that senior high schools engage in is still present within alumni. The battle for bragging rights to a particular endeavor remains even after school. If your school can cook, it means your school is here. If your school can boast of good culinary masterminds, this right here is the perfect platform to showcase that skill set. Alumni have met and they have chosen representatives to take up the task of preparing extraordinary dishes to bring victory to their respective schools.
Tell me what you're cooking.
Week in, week out, these schools will mount these workstations in a bid to buy your nutritional affinity to them. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your taste buds and fasten your aprons. These culinary experts are set to battle for the enviable crown of being tagged Lords of the Kitchen. This is Kitchen Wars Season 2.
Kitchen Wars Season 2, Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye Ono Soko.
PGL.
Get ready for another cultural explosion like never before. On 21st September, Africa will witness an ultimate celebration of African diversity and flavor at the 3FM Afro Connect event. This is the place to experience the magic of African arts and creativity. You also get to unite in a sizzling jollof war competition, igniting a culinary showdown. Will Côte d'Ivoire hold the jollof war title? So whether you're passionate about food, art games, or simply making new connections, 3FM Afro Connect event on the 21st of September is the place to be. Venue, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. To sell, call 053-220-0927. 3FM Afro Connect, connecting Africa and beyond.
Brought to you by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. The 3FM Afro Connect is proudly sponsored by
Cristiano Ronaldo continues his record.
What a dream debut!
Ghana coming out again, the same squad.
For the ball, he's got it! Throw it down, King!
Sports Station, Mondays, 9 p.m. on TV3.
Sports Station is brought to you by Betway, Nesta Mouthwash.
Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
I'm a hero from zero to hero.
Many with great voices have taken their chance on the biggest music reality show on screen.
Rap na kasa be my career.
Some stood out with their lyrical abilities and style. Mentor is back. The search is on. Who becomes the next winner? Mentor, the world awaits you.
I know you God, I go do some. Into me, I go do some. Me who na me kana samasa. Open it, Jagan and so. swassa. Ejuma mi yo ejuma. Sememre swana mi ko. Akwento musam so obieni. And I can't explain my wachedi. Here we are sitting and crying. That thing ever come baby. See the goal is to be happy. Yeah, yeah. Men show the know somebody. I'm going to me baby, me rest one and me go. Me baby, me rest one and me go. I'm going to me baby, me rest one and me go. Me baby, me rest one and me go. Sometimes I think how time flies, and it feels like you never did nothing, and you can never bring it back again. So hold on your pains, yeah. This thing of your destiny, even though I take it plenty.
And that's familiar with his brand new one. He calls it Not God. And, well, we're just admiring the music video, right? And trying to figure out where it was shot and all that. Beautiful video by all standards. But it's time now for This Morning, and it's in twofold. And so, first of all, we'll start talking about World Suicide Prevention Day, which was celebrated just yesterday. And so there's a need for us to speak to Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur to give us some updates on the situation at hand and what we can do to better help people around us and better take care of our psychological health as well. Now, the theme, as said yesterday, it talks about creating hope through action. Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur joins us via Zoom. Good morning, Doc.
Yeah, good morning,
Thank
Bella.
you for joining us. I hope you're well.
Thank you for waking me up early this morning.
Well, we also wake up that early, and so I guess we're on the same trajectory. But anyway, tell us a bit about yesterday and how the day was marked.
Yeah, well, yesterday was World Suicide Prevention Day, and there are a lot of mental health activities that went on yesterday. There were conferences, media engagements from Ghana Psychological Association, Mental Health Authority, Ghana Psychiatric Association. There are all kinds of mental health organizations. Winglow Family International, I think it's one of the main groups in Ghana that is responsible solely for suicide prevention. Winglow Family International. Watima Andor is the one in charge. And I think that a lot of noise has been going on throughout the past weekend and yesterday. Yes.
Has there been any progress in ensuring that we reduce the numbers as much as possible when it comes to suicide?
Yeah, I think generally, when something was done, I think from 2012, mental health, I think is a bill or something, 2012 until now, I think there have been a lot of progress. Now you can walk into any health facility and it's likely you have a mental health professional. And I think through government policies, things have been done well. And there are a lot of people working on the ground, GPA and all other mental health bodies. And so the numbers, though we still see those figures, I think in Ghana it's about 1,500 every year or so. Worldwide it's about 700,000 people die by suicide, 1 every 40 seconds. Still the numbers are staggering, but in terms of awareness and people knowing what to do, I think a lot has gone on.
But it says, per the statistics, that about 77% of suicidal acts occur in low and middle income countries, of which we're a part of. And so the question then is, you talk about there being at least a mental health doctor in every facility at the moment. But question is, are people patronizing some of these doctors and going to them to tell them what their challenges are? Because it's different having them there, and it's different having people open up about their psychological challenges.
Yeah, well, things have changed. Those days you wouldn't find someone coming to the hospital and saying, I'm sad, help me, or I feel depressed.
Okay.
Please unmute. Unmute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you. Carry on.
We see a lot who are self-referred. And we have, even doctors now looking out for people with some mental health problems. Those days it wasn't like that at all. But now the numbers are really, really overwhelming. You have people coming to ask for the services of a mental health worker. You have institutions contacting mental health professionals for something on mental health. Personally, I'm busy almost all the time addressing some issue on some, platform. You know, so it's really going up. You know, sometimes it even become overwhelming. It wasn't like that those days.
When you say the numbers are encouraging, do you have any statistics to back this?
Oh, not really. But in terms of our clinical work, we see a lot more now.
But how are you dealing with stigma?
Yeah, well, we're actually doing that through a lot of, you know, education, like what we are doing on TV3. You know, when people get to understand that mental health goes beyond respectfully someone lying on the streets, and that our normal day-to-day things that affects us is under mental health, it's helped, you know, to a greater extent. You know, those days when you mention mental health, everybody is trying to, you know, have some kind of mindset. But now things are changing. It's really, really, you know, better. Even with, you know, if you look at the decriminalization of attempted suicide sometime early this, I think in March, by Parliament. You know, it shows we've come a long way, and people have really worked. And I think that is a very, very good sign. We are really doing well.
Okay.
All right, Doc, when do you know when it's time to seek for help? Like you said, now we all know that people can come to the hospital and tell you, Doc, I'm sad, help me, I feel depressed, help me. But we also know that being sad is a normal thing, that, you know, we all get sad when things don't go right in our lives. But when do you know that it's time to talk to a doctor about your sadness?
Okay, let me summarize it into 4 Ds. 4 Ds. You know, when your thinking or feelings or behavior is affected, thinking, feelings, and behavior is affected, it means likely you have some mental disorders. And it impacts 4 things, right? It causes some distress. So you are in a certain pain or discomfort, and it's just unbearable. 2, dysfunction. What it means that you cannot function well. You wake up in the morning, it's like you are all over the place. You know the energy to do things is not even there. The interest is gone. It's like you wish you can even be in bed the whole day, and you know you cannot function well. And the next is damage. It's like everything in your life is affected. Your relationships, your career, your work, everything is all over the place, and you're struggling with it. Then again, deviation from social norms. You realize that you can't even be, your presence in any social space is not even positive anymore. It's like you are actually deviating from everything. You go to work and everything is all over the place, right? You realize that your presence in the social space has even become toxic. It means you need help, right? So when this aspect of your life is affected, you can't function. It means that now it's become a problem and you need help. Because like we said, all of us go through things on a daily basis, and generally we all have built a certain level of resilience to cope and adjust, to resist, or to be able to, marshal our coping strategies to deal with it. So generally we do well. But anytime you realize that these areas of your life have been affected, it means that you need help, and you need to be able to go seek help.
Now, from my readings, I've learned that a lot of people who suffer these extreme mental health challenges, and even people who go all the way to commit suicide, are often people who seem very happy on the outside. You know, you really cannot tell. A lot of comedians have come out to say that they have suffered depression for the longest time, but most people are unable to tell because you're always very happy and jolly, and they make other people happy. How can one tell if the people in their lives are depressed or are suffering any mental health challenge? How can I tell if my colleague at work, who's always happy and seems fine, has a mental health condition? How can we help the people around us?
So generally, 4 out of every suicide could have been prevented, because out of 5, about 4 of them would actually show some signs. You may have about 1 out of the 5 who would not show anything. You know, they are there and everything seems fine, and one day you hear, pam, they are gone, right? But the 4, what it means is that they will show some symptoms. The first is that they may express it verbally. Hey, me bro, in your mind, like I'm suffering, things are not going well, I feel like dying. They may actually express it verbally. Others too, now social media has made it so easy. People will write it on their status. They keep posting sad things on their status and social media pages. They keep liking things that you know expresses some deep emotional problems. It should be something that you should look out for. And again, too, they may write it. You know, sometimes they may write it in notes, They may send messages to people who care about them and stuff like that. Then anybody who is socially withdrawn, this lively person, all the time they're around now, you don't hear about them. They are socially withdrawn from social activities and stuff like that. They don't have interest in things. It's likely they are thinking about it. Then anybody who is undergoing any mental health problem, they have, depression, anxiety, stress, they have bipolar, they have schizophrenia, and those kind of mental substance use. People who are always on substances. It can be alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and those people. They have a higher rates of dying by suicide.
Okay.
Then again, to anybody who has attempted suicide before, the risks actually goes up. But anybody who is going through any trouble at all in life, that may be the only sign. So someone going through some difficulty.
All right.
It is likely they are thinking about it.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, and thank you for the good work you're doing in helping us understand mental health issues and the importance of suicide prevention. We'll have more conversations about this as we go. But now it's time to cross over to Johnny now as he's ready for Johnny's Bite. Stay tuned.
And I will dwell in the